Good evening, YouTube. How is everyone? It is Super Bowl Sunday. Jerome here, Krazy Canucks Performance, coming at you with another video, a video that I've been waiting a long time to make, and due to COVID and blah, 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 here we are, February 7th. I don't know when I'll be able to post this video, but yeah, so this is the start. Super Bowl. I'm going to watch the Super Bowl on the TV over here. And we got the sled. And this is what we're doing here. Velocity Sled Performance 136 swap. So this 2021 VR1 850 is a 129. I ordered it with the Storm 150 track. Therefore, I am doing a swap to the Velocity Sled Performance kit. So what is involved in the kit? You've got big wheels. These are massive 9-inch wheels. I'll show you after. You kind of have to put the wheels together yourself. So you got bearings, bearing retainers here. This is, of course, the offset axle. And then you've got 10-tooth, 252 pitch drivers. So I will try to detail as much as possible, the kit. Having said that, it is, early February, so it's riding season. I think if we were doing this in October or November, I'd probably take a long time, maybe more detailed video, but I'm going to try to balance getting it done so I can go riding next weekend, and getting good video. So hopefully that'll turn out well for everyone. So yeah, look at these. So these are the wheels. This is really what visually what makes it, right? Like if I go here, they're just huge. 9-inch wheels. They're just gonna look awesome. And then we've got, this is the offset axle, so you might be wondering, how does it work? Well, once you take everything off, obviously we'll go through it, but this will go in here instead of the axle being where my thumb is. The axle is then, the wheels are on the right there where the bolt is. So it moves the wheels out, and then the wheels are bigger. So the combination of those two, that's what gets us the ability to fit the 136 track on the machine. And then I've got the track. It's kind of tucked away. I didn't take it out yet, but I studded this, no word of a lie. I studded this track January 1st, New Year's Day. I spent the day studying the track. So I've been waiting a while, to kind of get everything put together. But here we are. So first step will be to assemble these wheels. So essentially you've got, a Robertson number 2. You've got a outer bearing retainer with the machine for the screw. Boom. You've got a back one. It's got threads here, but also there are these nylock nuts. So this is pretty straightforward. For this part, you're going to need an 11/32 socket, and a Robertson number 2, and some blue Loctite. So let me put you on the tripod, and we'll keep going. Okay. So this is pretty straightforward. I'll just show you kind of how to get started, and then you can kind of put you on fast forward while we go through it. But we've got, comes with a bearing just able to pop in there. We've got the back retainer with the threads, so that goes on the back there. You can kind of feel it's ridged, so it goes into position. You've got the front retainer, similar deal. obviously you're going to line up the holes. You put in the screw, the machine screw here. I opted for a Robertson number 2 on the impact. So once you get to the other side, what I'll do is I'm going to put blue Loctite in here. Make a giant mess, of course. Line it up there. It's going to be a little bit wobbly until I get another one. So let's put another machine screw in here. Just do like a star pattern, like you would torquing your wheels for a car. So here I'll just drop some blue Loctite in there. There we go. Loctite everywhere. So I'm just going to tighten them down like this. I'll keep going. So then on the back side, as you can see, I got to torque it down a little bit more. There we go. Get it all nice and flat. I'll do the same with this one. There. So now the retainer's flat on both sides. Then while I've got the blue Loctite, even though this has a nylock, I'm going to do that. And just snug that down. I'll add a little bit more blue Loctite to the other side. I don't really know what, torque setting, but I assume nice and snug, not overly crazy is what we want. So there we go. 2 of them in, the bearings in the middle, everything is nice and flush here, nice and flush here. I will continue putting the remaining 3 on this one and finishing the pile. So you guys will see that on a bit of a fast forward, and then we'll come back with the next step after that. All right, so all 4 wheels are put together. I used lots of blue Loctite in there. I think the previous 136 or big wheel kit didn't have these additional nuts, so regardless, even with these, I just loaded it with blue Loctite, but got it all done. So that was the easy part. Putting these together. The hard part now will be tearing into this thing. So that's next. I'm going to get it set up so that I can remove the skid, take the chain case apart, like do all of that stuff. So I'm going to get set up and get back with you. All right, so I'm set up here. I've got the electric chain fall, whatever you want to call that. It's coming so handy. So next step for me will be removing the skid. So we've seen this a few times already in different videos, but we got a 15 mil bolt right here. So I'm going to remove that on both sides. I have these BRP tunnel mounted scratchers as well. those will come off. So I have just a little bit of tension. Just a little bit of tension on the back holding it up. And I'm going to just keep everything all back together in the same way that it came off. That way, if for whatever reason I don't remember, it's already the same. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. And then once I do that, we'll get to the next step. All right, so for me, my preference is for removing the skid, I'm going to lift it up pretty high in the air. That's why this electric chain fall really comes in handy. And then these 17 mil bolts here. So you gotta always remember, you got the bolt, you got the spacer, and there's a washer, and the nut flew off. I'm just gonna go do the other side real quick. So as you can see, maybe I'll back this up a bit, but with the back of the sled really high, just a little bit of wiggling. And the skid's out. So I don't know, I prefer that much better to tipping it on the side and figuring that out. So that's it. All right. Let's come back with the next step will be to tear into the exhaust panel, get all that stuff off. So I'll set up for that. I mean, what we have to get to is, you know, the goal here is to get to the drivers because we have to put on the 10-tooth drivers. So the drivers are on the drive shaft, which is underneath. And maybe I can give you a little, in case you don't know or haven't seen that before. But those are the stock drivers here on the drive shaft. So it's connected to, on this side, the chain case, and it's connected on the other side, just a bearing. So I'm going to choose to do the hard side first, which means I will need to battery out, can out, stock muffler, it's not a can, just stock muffler out. We're going to have to get behind this brake here, take all that apart. I might, I'll probably just tear it down a little bit more, get this shroud off as well. I mean, I don't think I'm going to do a 100%, you know, step-by-step how to removing all this stuff, but I will get some of the work done and check in with everyone on the next step. And if I discover something that you should know, I'll mention it. Okay, just a little check-in on the progress here. So I took the battery out. There's a 10 mil bolts on top of the battery. There's a battery tray I took out to get some room. There's two 10 mils here. There's a, I don't know, T something there, T30, T40 right here. And then you can pull the battery tray out. I took the muffler off, just the best way. You need the room to get to the caliper bolts here, so that's very straightforward. Remove the springs. There's one on top here of the pipe, one on the bottom of the pipe. There's one on this side here, and I think that's it, if I'm not mistaken. I found it easier remove this one as well, because then you can kind of move this out of the way. You can get the pipe out. I mean, stuff like that is pretty straightforward. I'm assuming everyone would be able to do that, or else you're maybe not tackling a job like this on your own. So just wanted to check in. There's the caliper bolts that are from behind, so it's a little bit tricky. So this one here wasn't too bad. I was able to use just a flex head, 15 mil. Boop, 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 boop. That one was fine. The other one though, I don't know if you can see that, is kind of like right, the light. Yeah, anyways, it's right down there. But with just a 3/8 ratchet, a normal 15 mil, you know, I'm on it and I was able to loosen it, so that's not bad. But that's kind of a little tip here, because I was kind of wondering, how am I going to get back there? But yeah, it's coming along good. I already took this out, 15 mil here too. I took the brake pads out. So I'm just going to continue on doing that. And I mean, it's going really quick actually. As soon as I get that last caliper bolt off, this, you know, that's going to come off obviously. And then I'm at the chain case. So then I'll be able to loosen the bolts of the chain case, let that the chain case fluid drain, and then open that up. And I'd have to guess, knock on wood, if everything goes well, you know, I'll be taking the drive shaft off. It's halftime right now of the Super Bowl. If I don't have this drive shaft, this is a Super Bowl prediction. If I don't have the drive shaft out by the end of the game, which gives me plenty of time, then maybe I shouldn't be doing this. So that's it. I will check in a little bit later. All right. Super Bowl halftime show in the background. Garage heater on. It's cold here in Ontario. So as you saw previously, I was able to get the this back one out. There's not a lot of motion or throw in the wrench, so you just kind of get to it. Not a big deal. So now the next step is to take these 10 mil bolts off of the chain case. I have a oil pan set up here. I mean, I'm hoping that it's set up to catch everything. I guess we'll see. But I'm just going to loosen a little bit at a time. Kind of nice. The Sidewinder that I worked on for the past couple of years was all Torx and kind of a pain in the bum. So it's kind of nice. Just grabbed a little wobbly extension for over here. And I'm working on something I'm notorious for making a mess, so I would not be surprised if this drip pan is in a completely wrong spot and it's just going to make a giant mess. Because that and hitting huge compression bumps that I didn't notice on the sleds. Probably something else I do all the time as well. But yeah, this is going well for, you know, working on this on my own. This is pretty good. Normally, probably have Colt here helping, but work schedules and stuff, and it just didn't work out. But I'm sure, obviously, there's multiple steps to this, so you'll probably see him in this video. So I took all the bolts out. Now I don't know if I have to do anything with this. Maybe it looks like that might have to come out. Obviously, I didn't look into this before, so. Oh, there we go. As I suspected. Going at the wall. Leaking all over. Well, I pretty much called it that it was going to make a giant mess. Thankfully, there's not a ton of fluid in here. Go. All right. So we take this out. Looks like to be a spacer. And then behind it, let me get you in closer. There's a just looks like a soft O-ring. It's probably easier to take the O-ring out. Just use a pick like that. And then that should come off. Okay, so there's two T30s underneath that kind of drop the bottom panel here underneath the chain case. So I see now if I would have taken those out beforehand, it would have dropped that just enough to pool everything and then drip into the pan. So FYI, and it looks like I needed to take those out anyways to be able to rotate this in a position where it doesn't hit the inner footwell here. So I can rotate it out of the way and off like that. Perfect. Okay, so as you saw, we took the chain case cover off. That was pretty good. So now I want to get this bolt off, but obviously if I try to crank on it, you know, everything's going to move. There's nothing, no more brake here I can press. The track is loose. So I just put this bolt back on where the brake rotor was. So that is, you know, basically a Titan I loosen with the other one, so that hopefully will allow me to get that loose. So let's see how that works. Try to do it without being in the way too much of the camera. Yeah, so that the bottom bolt loosened pretty good there. I wanted to do that before I loosen the chain. And then so now I will go ahead and loosen the chain. Take this bolt off. Jeez. The Bucks are putting on a clinic. Everyone's gonna know this by the time they watch the video. I guess we'll see if Mahomes can come back, but 27-9 right now. Not looking good. Almost there. So I just want to make sure that keep it the same. Just try to back it out. I'm going to have to take this 15 mil off. That's probably going to give me a hard time. Impact comes in handy.
Introducing a performance that's worth the wait. New Lexus
So I'm going to grab paper towel.
Nice one.
So I'm just grabbing this, just how it was. I'm going to put it on. I'll show you. I just like to leave it on the bench on the paper. You can see because I have a Storm 150 track. It's a 41 tooth bottom and 22 tooth top. And that's what I'm keeping. I could re-gear, I guess, to maybe go a little bit faster, but I don't really particularly care about top speed. So I think this will be good for me. Okay, so theoretically, we're done on this side. So I'm going to clean stuff up a little bit. You can see a big mess there. I'm going to clean stuff up and then go to the other side. Okay, now we're on the other side. Maybe I'll fast forward through this part, but we want to remove the secondary clutch, get it out of the way. I'm doing a clutch kit at the same time, so it actually comes in handy. I need to get the secondary off anyways. As far as the clutch kit, not going to be much different than what we've seen already from the video when Colt was at VSP. It's a VSP clutch kit. So we'll have a primary, all I'm doing is a primary spring, weights in the primary, and then I'm doing a secondary spring and a helix. So pretty standard clutch kit, I would say.
It's your network. No, but I can change. I'll change.
All right, belt off. Belt off, 15 mil. Like the previous video, we want to make sure we grab anything that's kind of in there. There's just a clip here. Hopefully that's in view, but there's a clip here. Remove the panel. So now we can kind of see why we went back here. So this is the other side of that drive shaft. There's a bunch of torques there that'll have to be removed. And if I reach underneath, clearly I have not done this before, so I'm just checking. So there's no nut on the other side. It appears as though I'm hoping I can just remove these, which is kind of nice. Let me put this back here. So I got the washers and the spacer, everything there. I'm assuming that's a T40. T40. I'll try to impact as many of these as possible, but it might not be too easy. Can I get in there with this? Oh, baby. So I'm going to try, there's a bit of a vent here. I should be able to see if I can get a view of that for everyone. Should be able to get the impact through, at least get one or two. There's 3 left. This last one is a bit too steep of an angle for my liking. See if I can get to it. A little extension with a little wobble. Yeah, can I get this in? Come on, baby. Oh yeah. Obviously you want to be careful. These are Torx, so very prone to stripping. Boop. So this is done here. Let me show you what that looks like. So that's it. What I will do now is lift this in the air a little bit so I can get underneath. I'm going to move my stuff out of the way and reset so I can take this out. Okay, I'm trying to get a good shot here, but it might be tricky. So what you have to do is get the track, push it off. And I want to push it toward the secondary side. This is the only time that potentially it being on its side would be easier. Oh, I see. Just the bearing holder is in the way here. Boom. Huh? And it's still the third quarter. All right. All of that work to get to this point. So now the track completely loose. And get that guy out of the way. Let me show you here. So these are the stock 286-pitch drivers. Look at the difference. You know, we're talking a significant difference here from grabbing the track perspective. We're going for, yeah, this is, not only are they bigger, yeah, you can kind of tell that, right? It's bigger. So it's a bigger driver, a lot more contact area on the track. So I think that's it for this segment. That really didn't take as long as I thought. Hopefully putting it back together is going to go as smooth. Maybe I'll have help when I put it back together. So that would be good, make things go a lot faster, but that wasn't bad at all. There's still 2 minutes and 46 seconds in the third quarter. So that's pretty good. I'm just gonna clean up. There's a big mess under there, clean up my tools. My next step, so in the video, what you'll see as next step, I'm gonna likely going over to my buddy Charlie's. He's got a 12-ton press. So we are going to attempt to press these out. Apparently, you know, it's can be done with a press like that. So we're gonna see how that works. We're just gonna make sure to measure from probably measure from this side here, from the gear side, measure the distances properly, and then just to ensure that everything goes at the right spot. And that's it. But next day, I'm at Charlie's. Hi, Charlie. Good friend, and haven't seen each other much lately, you know, COVID. So we are here to press the old drivers off of the drive shaft and put the new ones on. So this is a press setup that he's got. We measured everything twice, making sure that we have the proper measurements to know where the new drivers are going to go. And that's it. We're going to go to town here. Obviously, we're going to press down. We're basically pushing the drive shaft down. The drivers are staying put. this one will go up and then push both off, and then we're going to push the other ones on. So that's the plan. Charlie, you think it's going to work?
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll go pretty easy.
All right, let's see. Let's begin.
So you're lined up with the groove here?
So the groove looks like it will go, yes. It's going. So we got the first one on here. You saw that. That's actually went pretty good. We just want to make sure these are indexed and marked. So we want to make sure that we're putting them on with the marks lined up. So that's it.
You're gonna watch those marks?
Yeah.
Got that little socket there. Let me know when you're ready.
Just get it there, and then I'll make sure. So mark here, mark here.
I think we'll get centered in right here.
All right. With Charlie's help, we got the drivers on. That actually went pretty good. So next step, we're going to put the sled all back together. All right, everybody. So came back from Charlie's. Hopefully this angle is good. I don't know. It's not the easiest to see, but the only tricky part about doing this part of the swap with the machine as it is versus on its side is this. Trying to get the track up as high as possible so that I have room to get the new drive shaft. So I'm going to try to hold it like that. I should be able to get it in. There. Okay. give you a better angle here. So that wasn't too bad. I just made sure the track was as high as possible. It's there on that side. And then on this side. So basically you're putting it all the way through on the clutch side so that you can put it in the bearing on the brake side. And then obviously it comes through there. So yeah, that's it. Okay. Wow. We want to make sure, of course, that the track is oriented properly. So I did double check here. There's an arrow. Hopefully you can see that. The arrow is pointing, forward. The track's going to kind of turn this way. Grab, and then I have the double. So we didn't really talk about it much, but we did a few studying videos already. So I decided to do this pattern, 2 doubles and then 2 singles. Theoretically, I could have done 3. So a double and a single on each bar. Instead, it would have given me the same 162 studs. But I don't like the visual look of that. I know it sounds crazy, but to me, this visually looks a lot better. So yeah, 2 doubles, 2 singles. I think the singles are going to drive me crazy a little bit because they're probably going to turn, being square. So there's already like that one right there. Look at that. But anyways, I went with just the, this is a 135 Cobra. And I went with the 1.325, I think it is, Stud Boys. So yeah, I didn't want to go too aggressive on the studs. I could have gone 1.5s, but you know what? This is going to give me enough traction without being too intrusive. I'm going to be happy with this. So the only difference we didn't do in the last video, Stud Boy has this tool here. It's essentially a holder. So as you saw for the double backers, these double backers, you can put one in and then you put the other, and then you can finish them both off, and the backer doesn't torque, it doesn't want to move. But with a single, obviously you can't do that, and trying to hold it with your hand, that's not going to work well. So I just we had the tool here, and you hold it on here, you impact it from the back, and you're able to hold it. This will help me as well, like this guy over here. I can probably go and, turn it a little bit, make it as straight as possible. This also works on the double backers if you wanted to. So this tool works on the doubles and the singles. Otherwise, same process, mark the track, drill the track, install studs. Pretty straightforward. So I'm just going to, next step, I think I will bolt. Next step will be to get this bearing bolted back in here. And then after that, we'll go on the other side. So I'll get that done. Essentially, just the reverse of what you did. There was some yellow Loctite on there. I might put maybe blue or red Loctite. And yeah, just to make sure that doesn't come off. All right, so I've got the clutch side bolted down. You can see on the plate, it says down. So that's just to make sure everything's oriented properly. But there's these 6 T40s here. I torqued them down to good and tight. So that takes care of the bearing. And then if we come here on the other side, next step will be to, so next step is going to be to get the chain in. So if you remember from yesterday, I had it on the bench, kind of how it was going to be here. So I just kept it like that. And I'm just going to put it back on. Has the spacer here. Okay. That's back on, so we'll want to tighten down the bottom bolt. Okay. I'm just making sure it's really tight. Obviously, you could try to use a torque wrench, but you really, I mean, you got to get here. There's not a lot of room between these two. Where do you get the torque wrench? Like, so even if I did know the torque setting, very difficult to get a torque wrench in there. So I just made it tight. I think that'll be good. So I'm going to put the tensioner back on. So this tensioner looks to be pretty much the same. I'm just putting it back how I had it, but all right, so tensioner back into position. I won't adjust this chain tension until I have everything back together. Just an FYI, I'll do it later, but it looks like you want it at hand tight and then back it off a quarter turn. So now we're ready to put the chain case cover back on. So I will slide it on, and then it kind of rotates down into place here. So it has its own gasket. Then we have this O-ring that goes in the groove here. So I'm going to put that on as well. Get that back in place. Perfect. I will tighten these bolts down. Again, I'm just going to make them tight, not too tight. Obviously, you don't want to crack anything here. So just snug them down tight enough. Get that in there. So I think from a chain case perspective, that'll be it. Obviously, I will fill the chain case one of the later steps. But so I'm going to do that. Bolt these down. I will then put the brake back on. So that's just going to be reverse order. I'm going to get the brake on, and then I'm going to put the chain tension, check that, and then I will put the muffler back on. So I'll come back once all of that is done. All right, brake back on. Boom, that wasn't too bad. I used the same trick to put it on as I did to take it off with the 3/8 wrench in the back to get this bolt that's down here. So that's good. Stock muffler back on. Obviously the chain case is all back together. I haven't filled that yet because I want to be able to put the machine flat. You know, once I put the skid in, I'll do that. No battery yet, but you know, everything is tucked in. I got that wire with the zip tie back, hood's back on. Handles are starting to look like a machine again. So the next step is to work on these wheels. So I'm going to take these 3 wheels off, and we will install the offset axle and the big wheel. So let's get with it. First step will be to loosen the adjuster here for the track tension and back it off. So that's what I will do. I think this is the only time I've ever really used a 16 mil wrench. are these bolts. I'll just back it off all the way. 10 mil there. And then we've got our 15 mils here. So we'll file these in a pile of stuff that I don't need anymore. Same with the stuff here. I will put it back together, you know, kind of as it went on here. Just to keep things handy. Alright, put that back over here. Okay, so essentially what we're doing is use this one, putting this in here. You can see it's machined well, fit in there. So we're putting that in here. It's bringing the axle back. The stock axle was here. So this is putting the axle back, and then we'll have the wheels. So per the directions here, I know that sometimes you can do this when the skid is in. I'm going to try it this way. We'll see what happens. We want to only put the inside two wheels on. We will put the outside wheels on after. Okay. So what do we need here? Perfect. Kind of like a puzzle. It's fun. So I'm just, for looks purposes, I'm going to put that on that side and that on the other side, so that you don't really see the nuts here when it's in. That there. There. I can put that through here, so that's not a problem. So these come with lock washers, but they're running out of blue Loctite. If I can squeeze a little bit of blue on here, probably doesn't hurt. So this is a very similar process, except I'm doing it on the bench to what Colt did. when he was at to see Will. So these are 9/16. Guess what I'll do first is put it in here before tightening it so that they're aligned. This is what happens when you don't really read directions. You just figure it out on your own, but that's part of the fun. So that block fits in there. I am able to get this screw through the wheel like that. Same on the other side. Bolt through the wheel. Boom. Just throw. These are nylocked, so shouldn't really be an issue, but a little bit of blue Loctite. I don't think ever hurt anyone. Make sure those are tight. Something that I'll keep. Always a good idea when you're putting something together, new especially. You're going to want to, go for a ride. It might be difficult to check it during the ride, but after my first ride, I'll bring the sled back in the garage, let it warm up and thaw, and then see how it goes. But yeah, this looks good. All right. So now I've got this in here. Just tighten this a little bit. I just want it so that it'll still move, but it's not going to come out of place. So I'll do the same on this side. That way you don't have any issues with the bolt backing off. So I'll make this as small as possible. And I guess we'll see if it fits back underneath. So let's set up for that. Okay. So I'm going to attempt to put this back in. Obviously, haven't rehearsed this, so let's see what happens. Okay, so got the track on. I found that, as you saw, I was trying to put the track on with the wheels already on, even backed off all the way. And it just did not give me enough room to kind of move this back so I can get the front upper bolts. Therefore, I removed the wheels, put the skid in at the front. I left these off, and then I just put the same as I did on the bench that like you saw. So that's the same process. I just put these in here, tighten this till there was a little bit loose. You don't want it too much because it'll bind when you tighten it. So then I tighten the track or tension the track. It's late here. I don't want to run the sled. I got to do the clutch kit anyways, but too late to run the machine to set the actual tension. So I put it pretty tight because this is a new track and obviously it's going to stretch, so I put it pretty tight, but I will double check that tomorrow when I can run the machine, do a final track tension, make sure that it's straight. Obviously, that's the whole point, but that's pretty straightforward stuff. After that, so you do the track tension with the outer wheels off, and then you pop the wheels on. Check that out. That's pretty sweet. So for me, for tonight, I am done on this. I will check in tomorrow to finish up, where I'll tension the track, make sure that it's aligned, put the wheels back on, and that's it. Oh, I guess I'm going to fill the chain case. That'd be pretty important. And put the battery. So we will resume tomorrow. All right, everybody. The 136 kit from Velocity Sled Performance is officially in. So from the last video, earlier today, I was able to run the sled just to make sure. I adjusted the track so that it was even on both sides. That's pretty straightforward. And I know I'll have to adjust it in no time anyways, because this brand new track will stretch. But yeah, look how big these wheels are. It looks amazing. Yeah, I can't wait. This turned out really good. I mean, yeah, there's a lot, involved in doing this, but I took my time. We'll call it, 2 evenings. I had everything done this morning. I filled the chain case, ran it, checked the track, make sure it was straight, and then I took it out for a little ride behind my house. There's a bit of a wooded area, so I couldn't really open it up, but just enough to, get through it, make sure that everything was straight, working, so everything seems fine. I brought it back in the garage, let it thaw for the day. I just went over everything again to make sure everything's tight, everything's straight, everything's where it's supposed to be. Because obviously, we took everything apart, the chain case, the clutches, the everything. So you just want to make sure as much as possible that everything is in place and it's going to work properly, because when we get back on the trail, that's not where you want to have an issue. So yeah, that's it. I mean, visually it looks amazing, obviously. And I think from a performance standpoint, it's going to be there. I'm very excited to see the difference between the previous Storm 150 and being geared for that, keeping the same gears, but now with the bigger drivers, and seeing what that does already. Even though where I took a little ride today, it wasn't like I couldn't open it up, but every time I got on the throttle a little bit, it seemed a little, more responsive than previous. So I'll only really know on the trail from a feeling perspective. I don't really care about ultimate top speed or anything like that. I just, kind of do this for fun, and I like this kind of stuff anyways. I did, on the weekend, race against my neighbor across the street, Turbo Tim. He's got a 2016 ZR9000, so it's an 1100 turbo. We kind of did a couple runs on the lake before I did the swap. So I'm curious, we hung pretty good at first, but obviously the turbo kind of pulled on me, and from a gearing perspective, he can go a lot faster. So now I should be able to hang with him a lot more. So that'll be my unofficial gauge as per how much performance I got from this. But I'm excited. I should be going out riding this weekend. I'll probably throw up a post-install ride video just with my thoughts on this. I've got about 1,000 kilometers on it pre-swap, which I kind of like. At least I have something to compare to. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. It's been a bit different doing this whole video all by myself. I'm sure the editing will be a lot of fun, but yeah, thank you very much for watching. This has been a long video, I think, but tried to go through as much of the process as possible. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe to our channel. there's going to be a lot more coming. Colton and I, here in Ontario, things have been crazy with COVID, but things are opening up hopefully in the next week or two. So we should be able to do a ride video. We've been wanting to do that for a little while now, but due to everything, we just couldn't get that together. So that should happen kind of tail end of February. So thank you very much again. Have a great night. And if you have any comments or questions, throw them up on YouTube, and I'll get them answered. Thank you.